Okay, it's been 2 years since I sat in my kayak. Last year was a complete waste of time. It was a very attractive lawn ornament. So I'm up at the crack of dawn on a Saturday morning. Beautiful day ahead, first spring kind of day. Supposed to get to 20 degrees Celsius. And I thought for my first real paddle of the year, the first paddle in 2 years, I would do something small, you know, maybe a weekend camping trip to one of the local islands. That's, you know, great. A couple of buddies of mine texted me last night saying they were going out for the afternoon today. Well, that would have been good too. Now, I'm going to stick with plan A. And after not kayaking for 2 years, I'm going to go for a 60-kilometer plus circumnavigation of Salt Spring Island, where I live. I did it 11 years ago, almost to the day. And my personal best for that one single time, 11 hours, 22 minutes, and 17 seconds. I went with a fully loaded kayak, just in case I'd have to camp, because I had no idea if I could do it. Since then, I've done the Yukon River Quest, which is 715 kilometers. So, you know, 10, 11 hour day. I was just the first bit of that race. So, I think I got it in me to maybe knock an hour off the time. Maybe I shouldn't take so much time taking video, right? The things you'll do for your YouTube channel. My arms are already aching. It's been 10 minutes. Beautiful sunrise though. Let's see if I can get you. There we go. All right, time to paddle. Talk to you in a minute. I don't know if the GoPro is picking it up, but then there's another freighter waiting for its turn at the mill to pick up logs to take somewhere else from our clear-cut Vancouver Island. There's some snow up in the mountains too. It was actually snowing a little over a week ago, and very, very chilly. Dead ahead indicates Southey Point. Well, nice start. I love early morning paddling. I just don't like early morning. That part was hard. Set my alarm for 6, was awake at 5. Hopefully those are the only waves today. Little seal ducked under over there. I've really missed seeing the seals. I've missed all of this. Kayaking is awesome. It's always been my first love. And this little kayak of mine, which is almost 20 years old, has seen a lot of life. Up and down the west coast of Vancouver Island, all around these Gulf Islands. The bottom has been touched up more than any porn stars. For a while there, I was going to call it patches. At one point, I had to actually replace an entire wooden panel. This being a wooden boat. I don't know if you guys knew that. I built it in my living room, 2005, without really knowing if I could get it out of the house. So I built the hull, the bottom, let the glue set, picked it up, carried it out of the living room to the front door, my tiny cabin, cleared everything off the top of my fridge with the stern, but it got out the front door. I lived with that construction for a couple of months. I was actually sleeping outside of my tent because the epoxy was so smelly. Oh my God. Up ahead, freighter number 3. That's crazy. And they're all waiting to pick up logs at the mill. You can see the smoke over there. That's the Crofton paper and pulp mill, which is always on its last legs. Gets a lot of supplemental funding to keep it going. It's pretty at night though. That whole thing is lit up. It's very, very pretty. Oh wow, the sun in my eyes. Yay. Okay. First day of paddling. First real day of sunshine. And there's some heat in that sun. Yeah, baby. I love it. I can't believe how flat it is today. I mean, that might change in the afternoon. But right now, wow. I got about 10 more minutes of fighting against the flood tide, and then it shifts into my favor. To get me through the Narrows, which you can almost see around the next point. That's a fun bit. You can paddle against the current through there, but when time's not on your side, like today, you time it so you get the benefit of the tide pushing you along. Well, things that are out of my control. The timing of the Vesuvius to Crofton ferry. Catching up to the ferry a little bit too quickly. So I'm going to do a zigzag a little further into the channel. Let it go by. And then have to pick up some speed a bit. Gosh darn it, losing time because of the BC ferry system. It's always late. Why is it on time today? It's always late. Oh well. So I can't show you where I work, a little red restaurant. But the view right now is pretty spectacular. So I dibble my paddles a little bit. The tide's changed, so I could just sit here and drift and make pretty good time. But I kind of want to be out in the middle anyway. Get the benefit of the full flow. Last time I kind of skirted the shore a bit too much, and I think it cost me. Oh, come on, dude. Pedal faster. Just about at Burgoyne Bay, and about 3 hours in. Not too bad. With the current in my favor. I'm getting 9 or 10 kilometers an hour, and I'm barely paddling. So I'm enjoying that while I can. So the afternoon is going to be a bit of a workout. And just ahead, it's Mount Sullivan. That's where I was hiking a couple of weeks ago as well. And I found that nice windy spot to have a coffee. It's a good hike, very steep hike. And worth it though. Well, Burgoyne Bay, up until about the mid-80s, was filled with logs from the logging in the area. And because of it, as a result, there's about 1.5 meters of tree debris and silt at the bottom of the bay. And it's really hampered shore life. There's not a lot of things growing. You rarely see any seals or fish or whatever in there. They kind of killed it. Just, you know, gotta leave your imprint everywhere you go. And right now we're skirting along the shores of the base of Mount Maxwell, the gem of the entire island, in my opinion. Got a little bit of wind waves from behind, but nothing bad. Probably as much as I'm going to get this afternoon, maybe a little bit bigger. As long as they're not breaking, which you only get if the wind is coming from the same direction, or the opposite direction, I'm sorry. It's like brushing the hair backwards on a cat, with the same result. Oh, I think it's almost time for snackage. I'll get into the bay, have something to drink, eat a snack bar. I brought my basic emergency overnight camping stuff: stove, tent, sleeping bag, food that requires water. So I guess I have to make it all around, the whole way today, because my backup water jug is on my kitchen counter. I just realized that about 10 minutes ago. So I'm committed. And if I decide I'm pooped and want to camp on one of these little islands around here, I got some peanuts and some chocolate-covered raisins, a few snack bars, and that would be dinner. So I guess I'm gonna have to paddle the whole distance around the island today, because the alternative is, ugh, that shows how long it's been since I've done this. I'm out of practice. I almost forgot my paddling gloves too. So, yeah. Too long doing nothing but work and not enough time outdoors. The paddling is like riding a bike though. It's just like I walked right back into it. I got my groove. Maybe I can lose some of that belly weight. I tried on my life jacket the other night and it was depressing how much I had to loosen the straps. Too many carbs. The COVID carbs. Gotta have the carbs, they feel like a hug. Okay, into the bay, across the bay, and then, woo, the Narrows. I should pick up a bit of speed in there too. That'd be great. It's maybe a couple 100 feet across from Salt Spring to Vancouver Island in places, so it's like a funnel. Pop out the other side, save about half an hour of normal paddling speed. Oh, it's nice here in the lee of the wind. It's good. A little bit of ripple. Gotta pay attention to these eddies and currents. At a high tide like this one going out, the current is not necessarily formidable. Near the end of the ebb, around 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, this channel will be swirling. Well, we're into the Narrows. First little tidal rapid right ahead of me. I'll make sure I don't hit any rocks. Wicked. Weird. Little whirlpool. Oh, yeah. That's why you have a rudder on your kayak. And this is why I love kayaking. That is a splendid view. There's an eagle up in the tree. Can't really see it. Very tranquil at the end of the Narrows. I got up to 12 kilometers an hour barely paddling. That's pretty good. I average around 7. If I can keep this pace, it looks like a 10-hour day. I'm going to stop for a minute. Around the corner here, there's a beach. It's part of the Marine Trail campsite trail thing. Stretch my legs. It's time to stretch my legs. 4.5 hours. And I think the seat pad has run a leak. It's not very comfortable. See, even I can find something to complain about when the view is this good. Looks like a good enough spot to stretch my legs. Let's see. Rubber legs. All right, short break. Allowed myself one little moment of videography. Really can't do that today. It's, I apologize. It's a stationary deck mount GoPro kind of day. But I wanted to get one shot of me leaving the shore. Anyway, the next hurdle is to go all the way around the bottom end of Salt Spring Island. It has a fat bottom, pointy top. So the worst is over. I got through the Narrows in time. I've got a very light wind. The sun is shining. Pleasure boats are going back and forth. A couple more freighters. I don't know why they're huddling up. Next stop, Fulford Harbour, which is a little bit past the halfway mark. Yay! I think if you get to Fulford Harbour, you can get home. Bella Point. Pretty soon. Last leg. Whew. I think I'm gonna find another spot to stretch my legs soon. For a couple hours. Dibbling along, racing with another ferry, just like I did the last one. Whew. Speedboat went by. Got some bumps. First bumps I've seen all day. Woo! Nice. My kayak is very happy today. I think she's missed getting wet as much as I've missed paddling. I'm on that ferry almost every week. Back and forth. Living on an island. We held hostage to the BC Ferry Corporation. That was big enough for a stretch break. Then he port the storm. Whee! Okay, time to put the jacket back on. Oh boy, that was a long crossing. Didn't like it much. Forgot how long that was. It's like 2 or 3 kilometers. Oh, it's nice to stand up. Yeah, I'd say this has sprung a leak. Alright. Well, at least I can get an hour of cushioned on my bum. Salty. We're gonna clear the water is. It's beautiful. Shell midden. Pretty little island. We'll call it mine. It's a tide pool. Some shellfish and little fish. Another one up there. So our next mission is this point. That's the Ruckle Park campground. And once we're around that, we can see Prevost Island. And I have to make a decision whether or not I'm gonna diagonal across, ferry across to there like I did last time, or haul all the way towards Ganges and then cross the harbor. I've been beating myself up the last hour or so because it's so late in the day, but I forgot. I left an hour earlier last time I did this. So I'm still kind of on track. And I've got 4.5 hours, 5 hours of daylight, so I'm not too worried. All right. A few more hours. Oh, it's actually really refreshing. Woo! I got some campers, early campers. Everyone's getting outdoors today. It is the start of spring break. It's nice. I've never actually camped in Ruckle Park. I don't like to be camped right next to somebody. I'm too used to having entire wilderness places to myself. But yeah, good for them. It's a nice weekend to do it. It's supposed to be even nicer tomorrow, so good start to the week. Happy camping, happy campers. Well, I can see the end. got 5 or 6 kilometers to the gap between Salt Spring and Prevo. And then just a boring home stretch up Trincomalee to the car. So far the wind has been cooperative. It's not too bad. Probably about 20 minutes to those little islands in the middle of the channel. And probably another half hour, 40 minutes to the end of Prevo. And probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to the car. I'm not exactly speedy today, but I'm having a fun day. It's a fun time. Enjoying it. Looks like flat water up ahead too. Can't really tell on the camera, but right in front of us it looks kind of brushed, and that's because the wind is brushing against the tide that's going in the same direction as the wind. Now, if the wind was coming at me as it is, and the tide was going in the same direction I am, probably be a little more wavy. Even with such a light wind, it'd be a little more choppy. Wouldn't be bad, it wouldn't be scary, but it would be a little more wavy. But yeah, up ahead, there's a line, it looks bright, and that means flat water. It's the lee of the island, and there's basically a wind shadow from the north wind. There you have it. Seamanship 101. I did the rugged shoreline hike of Ruckle Park, and there is your rugged shoreline of Ruckle Park. I gotta take a little breather. It's so demoralizing when you're so close and inside of the last leg, and you know how long that'll take, but you just can't get there. And I forgot how intense the last hour or so of a tide shift is, and I'm out in the middle of a channel where it's the most severe. And that was like molasses. This is demoralizing. So yeah, we have a break, eat some raisins, consider my life. Oh, rocks. Oh, this is gonna be ugly. Oh, they're hitting. Okay. All right. What time is it? 4:20. Huh. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. I was really hoping to get back to the car in under 12 hours, but still got another half hour of this soup to get through. Rubber legs, rocky shore. Okay. Alright guys. Break time. Alright. Okay. Enough of that. I got over my grumpies. I'm still grumpy. I'm running out of daylight. And I'm stuck on these rocks, which I don't like. There we go. Okay. So, 25 minutes from now, if the gods are willing, the tide will change. And the last couple hours will be kinder. Oops. Because the last couple hours are the toughest ones. Rudder down, spray skirt on, almost. Progress, And here's another tip. When you haven't planned ahead and you don't know what your tides are, if you pass some floating kelp, the direction that the leaves are floating in is the direction of the tide. And the kelp I just passed tells me the tide is changing. Just in time, because I've got to go through a narrow gap and I didn't want to have to paddle against that in a narrow gap. So, whew, I'm just closing in on Secret Island, a little strip of rock next to Prevost Island. And it was secret when one person put a cabin on it. And now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 little houses. So much for that secret. Well, I'm now racing the clock. I got about an hour and a half before sunset. I can do it. Getting tired though. It's time. It is time. My poor bum. It's flat. It is flat as my cushion. I'm making good time, but not great time. I think I'm getting tired. But I can see up ahead what is known as Walker's Hook. Walker's Hook Road, where I live. I could walk home from there. But my house keys are in my car. Anyway, once I'm at that point, it's about a half hour, 45 minutes to the car. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for the car. Bring on the car. Oh, I am so glad it's still flat though. Look at it. Wow. Very peaceful out here with just over an hour till sunset. I guess I'll be loading the car by headlamp light. Well, the sun is setting. I got about 20 minutes and then it's gonna be dusky. I've switched to headlamp mode just in case. I can kind of judge the distance from here about a half hour, 40 minutes, so it'll be dark when I get to the car. That's a good adventure. Oh, up ahead is Fernwood Dock. It's finally getting closer, which means I'm a few minutes away from my put-in at last. So I'm gonna say goodnight and put an end to this video for now. I hope you had a great time. I certainly did. What a fantastic day. Dawn to dusk. Sunrise to sunset. I have been sitting in my kayak with a deflated seat cushion. Yes. Okay guys, thanks so much for coming out and I'll see you next time.